Alright, howdy y'all. Wilson Sticks here. Doing a bit of a different thing. So many ums, oh my goodness. This is gonna be an unscripted video. Goodness, I gotta learn to stop saying that. Reviewing all the collector's cash sets that got in, just sort of short opinions on them. How good do you think they are? And is it worth the price increase from $249 to $299? Anyway, so, starting with the Darkblade Adept for Templar Assassin by Seeing Triangles. This set has a lot of nice details, the knives on the thigh and the hair with the braid. The color scheme all around looks very nice. And, yeah, the tattered cape down here looks very nice. The armor, very good detail. I like the horns. I like the little lightning effects on the shoulders. This is probably one of TA's best skins ever, easily. And next up we got the Phantom's Facade for the Asan persona by Bill. It has a bit of a jester theme going on. Y'all know how I love jesters and clowns and whatnot, so I'm very happy that this got in. I like the mask. Mask is cool. I'm always a fan of covered faces. The greaves are also very nice. These leg pieces with like the bent shoes and I don't know, the way the light reflects off them is very cool. The effects on the cape are nice. I like the shimmer on the blade, on the scythe. Just a very cool skin. Doesn't overwhelm you with detail like a lot of modern skins tend to do. It's just nice, simple, and easily one of my favorites out of the assortment here. And next we got Lotus of the Mountain Bear Clan by a name that I can't pronounce, but there's the artist anyway on screen. I like the Aghanim's theme going on. Like at his belt he has like an Aghanim shard symbol. He's got like blue crystals on his bracelets and more Aghanim's blue on the back and all that stuff. The sword is probably the most outstanding piece of this. Meepos had swords in the past, but this weapon, it has a haft, or it has a hilt that's about as long as the blade, which is nice. And if you look closely, if you angle it right, you can see there are characters written along the blade, which I think is a very cool detail. The artist did not have to do that, but they did anyways, which is very cool. Alright, and next we have Martyrdom of the Brineborn for Naga Siren, also by Seeing Triangles, who made the TA set. This one, I feel like, is very nice. The one thing I wish would have changed was the orange on Naga's head. I feel like it throws the color scheme for a loop. It clashes with the purple hair. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints. There's a lot of good detail in this set, from the Naga Siren on the shield, and also giving Naga a shield in general. And the legs inside of the tail, and the fins coming down from her hips, and the fins on the tail. It's a very cool gothic-looking piece. Very cool, very epic. Definitely still worth it. The color scheme is, I don't know if that's nitpicky of me, but still, I feel like that could have been maybe fixed. I don't know what the rules are for the workshop stuff, so maybe they couldn't cover that up, but who can say for sure. Also, the effects on the trident, I didn't notice this before. My goodness. That is a very cool touch. Next we have Elegy of the Reaper for Grimstroke by Mig. This one replaces his paint brush for a scythe, gives him some cool horns. It's like Grimstroke, but up to a higher level, so to speak. Like, it's just Grimstroke plus. It's darker, it's edgier, it's also Grimstroke's color scheme. I think this is supposed to be a lantern on the back of his scythe, which is very cool. Either that or it's a paint bucket, because it's like dripping paint from it. Very cool looking set, doesn't deviate from the color scheme too much, which I'm surprised, actually, because the theme with most skins these days, if you look past through here, is that they almost kind of abandoned the hero's default color scheme in favor of something new, but that really hasn't been the trend for Grimstroke skins ever since he's been released. It's always that red and dark green. But it works well for the hero, so, what can you do? Still is an amazing skin, though. Next we have Mechanics, or Mechanics, by Elaine. Turns him into a bit of a clockwork creature. You can see like gears turning and mechanical bits and screws and all that on his legs. It's got a bit of a robotic feel with some Eastern inspirations from the hat to the symbol on it and the tassels on the hat. Very cool concept. Nyx, I don't think Nyx has a single bad skin, and this is just continuing the streak. Whatever shade of purple this is on the legs is like, it's so good. I don't know how to describe it. It's like the vibrance and the depth of it is insane. Especially contrasted with like the muted colors that are, you know, the grays and the muted golds and all this other stuff that make the blue and the purples just pop right out at you. Very good coloring on the skin. And I do like that this bit is animated. The gear is animated. And next we have Faithful Fortune for Marcy by a name that I can't pronounce, but I'll put on screen. It feels like this one was designed for the Chinese New Year event, from the panda to the red and gold coloring, and it just kind of snuck into Crownfall. Not to say that that's bad. There already was like a Marcy skin for the Lunar New Year. I think this one did a better job of it though. The gradient on the hair is nice. Tassels and the capes. I don't know if you can call this a cape. It's not much of a tassel because like these are tassels. I don't know what this is, but still very cool. Very consistent color scheme. Lots of detailing like this cross pattern on the jacket and the stitching on the, I don't know if this is the mantle, or that's part of the jacket or cloak or whatever that is. Lots of small interesting details on the skin. Very good, very cool. This one is definitely worth your money, I think. I also just noticed there's dice, little dice things in her hair. Also a neat touch. Next we got Ardalon Arms Race by Yastar. This one matches the sniper immortal we got from Dire Tide a few years ago. Another spacey sci-fi. I think this is cool. We don't really have a lot of sci-fi skins in Dota, so it's always a blast to see these. The blasters are animated. This, I think, is a big plus. The creator of the skin did not have to do that, and Valve did not have to allow that skin, considering it's only a mythic. But that is such a cool detail. Snapfire herself, dressed up, got the helmet, all that stuff. I like the goggles, how one is like for aiming and the other is just for like seeing. The hair is nice, very retro sci-fi themed. Yes, very good. Next we got Dread of Night for Night Stalker by A. This one is pretty cool, I think. Does a lot to change its model. It's almost reminiscent of Venom in a way. It's like a symbiote has like covered him or something like that. The nighttime form is very cool because the eyes on his shoulder and on his chest and on his wings, they open up, whereas the daytime version, they're closed. That is a very cool detail. I always like the emphasis on the day-night transition that you see so commonly in Night Stalker skins nowadays. But very cool skin. And next we have the Blackwing Bandolera? My pronunciations are terrible. From Muerta by Hyrex. Hyrx? Hyrx. I'll put it on screen. For Muerta's first skin, this absolutely rocks. I like the thematic of birds. I'm always a fan. I really heckin' love birds, and the bird theming here is very cool. Obviously the bird on the shoulder, that is animated by the way, along with the bird heads in the pistols and the feathers on her capes and drapes on the arm. The differentiation of the pistols is also very cool. While one has like a bayonet affixed to it, the other has like this double bayonet thing, but on the sides this time. The cowboy thematic is also very cool. Everything from the vest to the chaps, and the hair. The hair is probably one of my favorite parts of the skin. It looks incredibly good at framing her face, or like keeping it like keeps her face hidden with the hat, giving it a more mysterious appearance, obviously, which I think works very well for Muerta's character. And for the ult form, also looks very cool. She becomes even more bird-like with her feet having talons and all that other stuff. I will say it is a bit low poly, it looks like, but that's probably because it doesn't need to be. I mean, all the effects kind of hide it really well. And, you know, she has a crow mask, or, well, not a crow mask, but a plague doctor mask. And surprisingly, the bird is gone. Not sure why. Maybe it was a limitation. Maybe it's to imply that Muerta like fuses with the bird, and that's why, you know, she has the plague doctor mask and all that stuff. But, you know, who can say for sure? I also do like that in the ult form, the eyes of the pistols glow red. That is a very cool detail. Also, they glow red on her shoulder drapes as well. All very cool details all around. I like how they stick to Muerta's general color scheme, because for her first skin, I don't think it should be too out there. It doesn't really need to be. This works well. Well, fine enough. I like how there's more red. I know from my best design Dota hero video, I mentioned how red really helps with the contrast. It works wonders here as well. Next we have Exquisite Agonies for Queen of Pain, also by Seeing Triangles. Man, this workshop artist is putting in work, for lack of a better word. This skin, very eye-catching, obviously. The horns are very cool, I think. Very vibrant red up there. I do have some problems with the skin. The wings are a bit stiff at times. You look at other Queen of Pain skins, they're animated, you know, she flexes them for an idle pose or something like that. Here that doesn't really happen. The shoes are nice, the dress is nice. The texture on the leggings is also very cool. Like the way as the light reflects off them is very neat. The feathers on the arms though, I feel like, I don't know, the way it interacts with the hair, it just kind of looks a bit visually messy in my opinion. But that's really all the complaints I have. I personally think this style, the blue style, fixes that issue with the hair and the feathers because it differentiates the color between them, whereas with the red style, it visually blends together. I don't know, it makes a lot of visual mess, I think. Whereas this is a bit more clean. But yeah, still very much worth your money. Next we have the Colossal Terror Pin for Tiny by Icona? I'll put it on screen. Very neat skin. We always love our Tiny skins here. This one with a tropical theme, and he's like a turtle. One detail that I do like about the skin is that as he grows, there is an ecosystem growing on him. You know, at level 1, there's like, you know, nothing on him. Then level 1, or, well, growth level 1, I should say. He's got some coral starting to crop up, and then at level 3 he has like an anchor and a crab, and there's like a bush growing on him with the vines and all this other stuff. And at 4 it just kind of like expounds. You can see barnacles and other foliage, and he's even got like a beard and the, you know, message in a bottle. All that cool stuff. I really like how it's themed around growth, as the name of the ability would imply. Also, I just noticed he has like a little treasure chest there. Does that only show up in... Yeah, it only shows up in the 3rd level of growth. Very neat, very cool, as most Tiny skins are. And next we have the Proselyte of the Sakura Clan by Yestar. And this one, honestly, when I saw this one during the voting, I didn't think much of it. Well, I mean, I did, but it was mostly because of the Sakura flowers. I think that's what they're called. That detail like sold me on the skin. The fact that particle effects were allowed like this, I think, is pretty sick. And the way they fall to the ground and all that other stuff. But other than that, I mean, it's still pretty cool. I just noticed there's a little twig in the hat with some flowers as well. I like the detail of the mask on the hip. Always nice when you see nice little details like that aren't obvious. But other than that, I think this looks a bit too similar to the one Void Spirit skin, for me, personally. That's really all the critiques I have. Other than that, I don't know, maybe it looks a bit generic, but the weapons really sold me on this one. The weapons look great. The best looking part of the skin. And next, going into the rares. This is the Blood Moon Stalker for Luna by Hunter. And my goodness, does it deserve to be a rare. The detailing on the wolf model is so good, especially with this like visual particles of like smoke coming off of him. Really sells that this is more like, you know, an evil themed skin. A lot of gothic vibes coming from this, much like the Naga Siren one. The weapon, I think, looks very cool. It was one of the first things that caught my eye besides the mount. This curved blade with some nice particle effects going on. The blinding thing that Luna has going on, I don't know if that's exactly blind. You can kind of see through it. But it's almost like a blindfold. I like the little, I don't know what that is, what you call it, like the little headpiece, little circlet that doesn't touch her head. The detail of making the shield, the chain, and collar around the wolf's neck, I thought that was so clever when I saw that. The one problem it does have, though, is that it doesn't work well with the other mounts, but you know, come on, like, you're supposed to use this as like a full package. Unless you're like really into heavy customization, I don't think it's too much of an issue. Other than that, very good. Definitely worthy of a rare. Next we have the Ancient Exile for Juggernaut by Chameleon. This one I am getting Warframe vibes from. This is a very unique skin for Juggernaut, I think, in that it's like a complete, I don't want to say complete, but whereas usually when white is in Juggernaut's color scheme, it's usually only around the mask, whereas here it's like his entire body. I will say that the visual effects on the sword and the belt can get a bit annoying with how much they pulse, but I don't know, that's just the personal gripe I have with it. The effect around the hilt, how, I don't know what you call that, but it's like shifting almost in a way, is a very cool touch. I do like this theme of the circle and then something inside the circle as like a general theme. You can see it in his helmet, in his belt, even on like his gauntlet on his other hand, and the hair as well. The hair piece is, I feel like this is probably one of the most eye-catching things from up above. I'd imagine if he walks, it's going to trail along, and I like how it fades to red. Definitely worthy of a very rare. The texture quality on this is also insane. And for the healing ward, it's a healing ward. I mean, I still don't see why you would ever equip this over the cat. The cat's going to be on top for a long time, I think, but it still fits. And lastly, but definitely not least, is the Aberrant Observer for Pudge by Hunter. This one is overwhelmingly deserving of the ultra rare slot. The eye has so much detail and animation put into it. The pupil, it dilates, it looks around. It has a mouth from which like a tongue comes out and all this other stuff. It's such a good horror skin. It even has like physics if I, jiggle it around a bit. Even the headpiece. It's like one of those things that makes you physically recoil when you look at this. It's such a good Pudge skin. Goodness. The one critique I do have is that if you look at this cape of spikes, it's supposed to be like, the spikes are coming from his body and jutting out, but they're not actually attached to his body. They don't move with his arm. They just kind of stay in the cape. But that's probably not going to be something you're noticing while you're playing the actual game. The weapons, I especially like this offhand. When I first saw this, I thought this was the hook, and then I scrolled over and said, "Oh, there's the hook." Yeah, other than the spike thing, I have no complaints. This is, I don't want to say it probably is better than, if this had its own custom spell effects, it would be better than the Arcana. And yeah, that is my general thoughts for this year's Collector's Cache. A lot of bangers, a few, nitpicks here and there, but other than that, each skin is just insanely high quality. Good work, and congrats to all the workshop artists who made it in, and for all the workshop artists that didn't quite make it. I really do hope to see your stuff next year, because a lot of the stuff that I voted for didn't make it in, I thought was amazing. It's always a blast to see what the community has cooking up. And my goodness, did they cook this year. And yeah, with that said, thank you all for watching until the end. God bless. Enjoy your Crownfall Collector's Cache, and until next time.